Design, a soulful suffer, a joyful journey. Welcome to yet another episode of my podcast, The Design Journeys. And today I am in conversation with Mr. Bharat Basnat, who is a famous environmentalist and a tourism entrepreneur from Nepal. And we are sitting in this very beautiful property, and I'm very happy to do my shoot with him today. So, sir, welcome to our episode of the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'm looking forward to have this conversation with you. The traditional architecture of Kathmandu. So, what was the point of reference? How did you think about, putting up a property like this? Were there any childhood references? Where do you belong? Tell me a little bit about, the references where this is coming from.
In fact, I'm not inhabitant of Kathmandu Valley. I have migrated from eastern part of Nepal, from the mid hills.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I came to study higher education to Kathmandu, and then I got stuck in job and tourism, and then I started working with them for some times, and then I traveled to Europe and America, and once I returned back, my job was not there. So I said, then I know this, I had little experience about tourism, then I started my own company back in 1998.
Okay.
I'm sorry, in 1988.
88.
1988, yeah. So I was very fascinated by the architect that I saw in Kathmandu Valley, in Bhaktapur, Patan, and Kathmandu city itself. So, in Nepal, in all the places,
Mm-hmm.
the architect was beautiful. Every family, you could tell who is living where
Uh-huh.
from the group community.
Yeah.
So the valley was inhabited by Newar. So inside Kathmandu Valley, there was an architect of this kind that we have seen in Kathmandu city, Bhaktapur and Patan. So in 1997, the government of Nepal decided to announce Visit Nepal 98.
Mm-hmm.
They want to bring more tourists. They want to attract more tourists to come to Nepal, as tourism was very important economy for them and job creator. So I said, if we want to bring more visitors in Nepal, then we should maintain our culture, tradition, history, architect. So at that time, Kathmandu was quite polluted.
Yeah.
So I said I should fight against this pollution.
Mm-hmm.
I should introduce, reintroduce the architect, and then protect old buildings.
Mm-hmm.
So I had 3 projects at that time. So the first project was to make the city little cleaner.
Mm-hmm. In terms of air quality.
Air quality, yeah, air quality. And I also fought against the use of plastic bags,
Uh-huh.
because it was all over the city, yeah, filthy, yeah. So after that, I was lucky. I had always a dream to build like a palace, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But then you need a lot of space, a lot of investment,
Yeah.
which was not possible because I didn't have that much resource.
Mm-hmm.
So then I said, let me try and build something smaller in size inside the city.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this came into my mind, and I found this place, and then I started consulting architect, yeah, engineers, and then artists. So together with them, I was able to create this beautiful Kantipur temple house, which you are staying and you liked it.
Very nice. So I'll hold it here. When you built this property, of course, as a visitor, when we see the traditional architecture, we see all the buildings as beautiful traditional buildings. But as an architect, when I start looking at what I saw at Patan, what I saw at Bhaktapur, and what I saw in Kathmandu, and I'm sure where the region that you belong to has, all of those have got subtle differences in terms of the design elements. So for example, within this property itself, I saw that, we're talking about the traditional peacock window, or we are talking about certain kinds of jalis. And traditionally, what I've seen, even in India, when we have tribals or traditional societies, what I see, the different communities use different kinds of building elements
Yeah.
to signify where they live, or even that extends to your clothing or to your food as well. So, how much of your East Nepalian architecture could you bring here at all?
Yeah, we have Nepal have over 139 different ethnic groups,
Mm-hmm.
but there are major tribal groups. I mean, if you look at Nepal, it's very colorful. The whole Nepal is very colorful. The family that I belong to is a Kshetri, and we have a certain architect style. And there are other communities, they have certain architect style. So you could tell from the building, from the settlement, who is living there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
who belongs to these settlements. So it was very identical.
Yeah.
And in Kathmandu, in the inside city, there were Newar. So all the buildings were looking like a temple. All the, I mean, what happened is they built temple, and around temple they build houses, which looks like a temple.
Yeah.
So it was said, Kathmandu, that time the name of Kathmandu is Kantipur. Kantipur is a city of temple.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a city of temple and a house of gods and goddesses. Yeah, so it was Sangrila of the world. That was how the tourists define. So you are architect, yeah. So in Nepal, there were no engineers, no architect in the former time,
Yeah.
but they knew the building code. They knew when they build new, they copy the old style.
Yeah.
They didn't introduce concrete buildings.
Yeah.
Now Kathmandu is filled up with concrete
I
buildings.
saw that.
Not only Kathmandu, the whole Nepal is filled up. So you don't know where you belong to.
Yeah.
So I said, this is not the right way. We should have followed our ancient architect.
Yeah.
So I started to promote this kind of architect, and after I built this, I also built a residence for myself, and I built in the same style. So it looks
In the
like,
temple style of architecture.
yeah. So it looks like an old temple where I live.
So, what in terms of architecture, do you any defining element, architectural element, which is different in a temple vis-a-vis traditional your East Nepalese architecture? What
Yeah,
would that be?
I mean, only in Kathmandu, the people had a great respect of gods and goddesses. Yeah. So the original Newari people, they copied the style of temple, and in the houses they lived, there were gods and goddesses. So every household house they lived was a temple.
Yeah.
So, but in the villages it's different. Yeah, it's different architect. Yeah, but here it's like you are living in a temple.
Yeah.
So this property, this Kantipur temple house, I tried to make it look like an old temple.
Yeah, I saw that because there's a courtyard, and then there is this, Brahmasthan, which has been defined by, beautiful sculpture.
Yeah.
And then especially the brackets that have been used on the edges, the flanking elements, the supporting structures, they've got the deities carved on them with arms, which is again a very traditional temple architectural form that I saw here. Also, I think the columns that we've used, the railings that we've used, they've got, the same elements which are there. So, do you think that in order to be sustainable, and especially as a Nepalese entrepreneur, how important do you think it is to retain the values of your past in order to be sustainable, while integrating it with the modern amenities of today?
As we try to be modern, right, we are losing our heritage, ancient architect, ancient culture, ancient values, which is not really good.
Yeah.
I think we can be modern, yeah, but at the same time, we should try to retain the ancient values. Yeah, I think in the Eastern culture, right, world, there is a great Eastern values. We are now influenced by the West.
Yeah.
The attire that we wear, the way we greet, the way we
Absolutely.
live. We are so influenced by the Western culture.
True.
That way, we are losing our Eastern values, which I think is not good for us. And then Westerners, the visitors who come over here, they try to copy what we have.
Yeah.
They are like they now. There's a big wave of yoga in the West. Yeah,
Yeah.
they even practice religion. Yeah,
Yeah,
Gita.
they will repackage your traditional stuff and they will sell it as sustainability. So
Yeah.
I think the concept of sustainability itself is a very subjective and relative idea, because a society which has always been sustainable to begin with. So at least the Eastern societies, and because I myself also belong to the Indian culture, I can say that with confidence that traditionally our lifestyles, our food, our habits, our thinking has been very sustainable, and that is, I think, at least it's the base of our philosophy. Which, and yeah, I think I agree with you that the Western influence is quite harsh. But at the same time, I do feel that to run a hotel and to build a hotel, one will have to always strike a balance between the built form and the amenities
Yeah.
that one would give, so that the experience is complete for the global visitor while you are showcasing your traditional built form, your traditional lifestyle, and you're offering a piece of your culture for them to taste.
Yeah.
It's almost as beautiful and poetic as this. So I think what I loved about this property was the fact that it has got a courtyard, which is the source of light, and it has been done with the traditional elements, complete with all the carvings, and so and I also think that this is a very beautiful example of how a building and art and craft can be blended together to create something which is of modern use
Yeah.
for someone. Of course, besides that, location and everything, is important, but yeah, this is what I feel. So, any other causes which are very close to your heart when it comes to sustainability? And I think you've briefly touched about air quality. Air quality, unfortunately, has been also quite a concern for Delhi, where I come from. And how we are tackling it is we are combining mechanical elements, for example, the use of certain kinds of filters in buildings which are pre air conditioned within the air conditioner, so that while the space is being cooled and conditioned in terms of humidity and in terms of temperature, it is also taking care of the particulate matter, which is a problem in the cities at the moment. So we're doing small measures like this in our spaces, in our living spaces, in our offices, where people are spending large amount of time to take care of the air quality while they are indoors. Of course, outdoor air is something that
Yeah.
needs campaigns and initiatives, like you're saying. So I did notice, like in Kathmandu, I did notice that one of the differences which I felt from Delhi was that the use of fuel in public transport in Kathmandu is still not clean, which was a problem in Delhi. I remember in 1995 or around, Delhi had started becoming very polluted, and there were these city buses which had this black smoke coming out, because we had still not switched to cleaner fuel for public transport. And I think by far, as an architect and as a city planner, I also practice city planning. um, I do feel that that was the shift to CNG, complex natural gas, in public transport was one of the very strong initiatives which helped Delhi reclaim the air. And I think for a good 15 years, Delhi's air was
Good.
was good. It was, at least it was not declining, and it was going towards better. It's only now that the crop burning and stuff has sort of posed a problem of seasonal sort of air quality challenge, which happens in a certain season when the ventilation is poor within the city. I think Kathmandu as a city, which is being a valley, and the air circulation is limited in certain seasons, and the air becomes dense, and it kind of settles down. So switching to cleaner fuel might also be something that they can look at,
Yeah.
looking at other cities. Yeah.
You know, my campaign that I initiated earlier, there was a, you have also seen this transport vehicle. It's called Bikram Tempo
Yeah.
in India. It was imported from India, and there were three-wheelers Bajaj Tempo and old buses,
Yeah.
which were creating hell of a lot of pollution.
Yeah.
So I was able to stop them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then the Bikram Tempos, the tempo was used to turn into electric vehicle.
Yeah.
So that was a big change. So that made for at least 5 years the air quality was very good. But now there are more people
Yeah.
using private vehicles. Yeah, so
You've touched upon EV. Is Nepal moving towards electric vehicles?
at the moment, and the government is also cutting down the import tax on EV. Yeah, there's a big demand of EV at the moment. Yeah, it's getting popular. But I think whole world has to shift. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think India, Nepal, the whole Asia. We were practicing sustainability,
Yeah.
like in our society, in our culture. Like we pray first of all as we wake up in the morning. We pray to the god sun. We
Yeah.
pray to the god moon. We pray to the earth. Yeah, we pray to the trees. Yeah, so we were living with the nature.
Yeah.
We were very much close to the nature.
Yeah.
But now, as the world is getting modern, we
Yeah.
have forgotten the closeness with the nature.
Yeah, and I think it's a very integrated thing. आपने बिल्कुल सही बात करी कि जो traditional lifestyles हैं, they are very closely integrated with the kind of buildings that we are building.
Yeah,
So, yeah, I think this is a very valid point that you're saying. I'll bring you to one last question where, actually, two questions I have before we close. So, I also want to talk about the kind of industrial development that is happening in the valley.
Industrial development.
Industrial development, because, see, as an architect, we also design industrial buildings, and we do have some projects here. So I know that there is a lot of industrial development that is happening in the industrial areas of Kathmandu. And what do you think is a role that an architect, according to you, can play to sort of control that? And what do you think as a policy maker, Kathmandu Nepalese government can do?
Yeah.
Probably.
I think now there's a big talk about global warming, climate change. Yeah, and the Western world is trying to improve the air quality. Now, because of the global warming, climate change, Nepal is also getting affected here. Like glaciers are melting very
Yeah, the
fast.
temperatures are higher now.
Yeah, temperatures are higher now,
Yeah.
and the pattern of the monsoon is also changed. Yeah, so I think now the engineers, the way they plan cities, yeah, houses, industrial factories, and all, they have to design to our sustainability. But this is not happening. In Kathmandu, there are not many industries. Yeah,
Is there a policy in place for this in Nepal?
I mean, if there is a policy, there is not a strong policy, and at the same time, it is not implemented very well. So I think the government of Nepal and the world government, first of all, must think about not the comfort of the human being, but sustainability of the planet.
Absolutely.
Because with our comfort, modern comfort, we are making the globe unlivable.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So in industries, we have a concept of green buildings, which I'm sure you're aware about, and there are various kinds of, some Western, some indigenous. Like in India, we have the Griha system. The West has the LEED system of rating buildings. So as an architect, what we do is we bring in a lot of these features which help mitigate the kind of environmental problem that particular manufacturing process may emanate. So sometimes it could be dust, or it could be heat, or it could be fire hazards, or it could be just the simple choice of materials of construction. So steel, for that matter, is one of the more sustainable materials because it has recycled content.
Still,
Steel, yeah, but concrete is relatively less sustainable. And if one talks about using completely foreign, sort of materials which have no relevance in that local context, then of course it's less sustainable practice. So yeah, I think together, if practitioners and the citizens and the policymakers join hands, there is a lot that can be achieved.
yeah, I think this is a very, very much needed now. The because this climate change and global warming is happening, so I think as you said rightly, the government, the policymakers, we as a citizen, yeah, planners, engineers, architect, we all have to now think how can we make the world sustainable, yeah,
Absolutely, absolutely.
consume less,
Consume less, yeah.
yeah,
As they
and
say, touch the planet lightly.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Thank you so much for joining in. I really enjoyed my conversation with you today. And I really hope to see you in India soon.
First
So,
of all, I thank you very much for
thank you,
finding
sir.
this place, Kantipur Temple House, and as an architect, you liked it.
I loved
And
it.
this
Yeah.
is this was my dream, and it has come true with you. Yeah, I hope more people will enjoy this place and experience this place
Yeah.
in future, and you can help for that.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you.
Bye bye.